There's nothing like sitting down to do an anarchy moment and forgetting what you are going to do the anarchy moment about. That's not an anarchy moment, that's a senior moment. Women. I think it all comes down to not necessarily women. Feminist, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it is women. See, here's where this started. I recently was involved in an event that had to do with supporting an organization that facilitates adoptions. And it's a good thing that organizations like this exist. I think it's great that adoption exists and that people adopt children. Excuse me. You see the patheticness of our society and the sadness in the fact that there has to be an organization to help you facilitate adoption. That we live in a statist country where you don't own your own body. And children, of course, own their own bodies but can't make their own decisions. But we live, and especially newborn babies, but we live in a country where a woman can't have a baby and say, I want to give this baby to a family to raise because I can't provide for it. She can't just give the child to them. They have to get permission from the government. They have to have, the overlords and the masters and get their permission. So that part of it is, that's just statism, though. That's just the fact that we're tax cattle and we don't matter to them. And those of you who are statist are willing to put up with this shit because you're really fucking stupid. So at this event, there were, I think, there were a number of major sponsors for the event, at least 8 of them. Of that, 3 of the sponsors for this event were prisons. I'm sorry, correctional institutes is what the prison industrial complex likes to call itself. And as part of the silent auction, there were a slew of items in there which were built by prisoners. And so when you're wondering why so many things are against the law, when you're wondering why we have a war on drugs and all this other stuff, let's look at this. I've talked about the prison industrial complex and the justice system industrial complex multiple times. It's still early in the morning. I'm on the first cup of coffee. And recording this is actually a way of procrastinating getting in front of the computer and doing quote-unquote more important things that need to be done. The prison industrial complex is fed by the justice and police force industrial complex that make all these things illegal and pack all these people into prisons so that the prisons can have the prisoners work for free to make things like sculptures and toys and chess sets and all this other stuff that I saw. These prisoners are making this shit for free. The correctional institute. Have to be politically correct, The correctional institute then takes the stuff the prisoners made for free and donates it to this fundraiser. And the women, because this thing is almost entirely done by women, of course, because any man who would be interested in helping with adoption is obviously a pedophile. It's just like any man who wants to, teach small children in public schools, they're automatically suspect. So there's no men involved in this. It's all women. These women are all just so giddy and excited and just creaming their panties over how wonderful all of this stuff is. It's donated by these prisoners. And I'm standing there thinking to myself how fucking sick these people are in the head. That they live in a society where being a person, being a man in prison is so romanticized. Right? It's the old prison hookup game. It's like you go out and you try to meet women and you be like, God, I'm just fucking talking like a girl. You be who you are, assuming this is who you are. You be who you are, a person with a job, who makes money, who knows how to wear clothes, who, has their shit together. Women aren't interested. But if you go out to meet women and you tell them that you just got out of prison and you're on parole and you don't have any money, women will just fucking swarm to you. Because there's this romanticized fantasy thing about prison culture in our society. These people are all in prison. Correctional institute. And they're making this stuff, and it's just so wonderful. And it's like, I want to say to these stupid ass women, do you not realize that this crap is made by criminals? And there'll be some response like, which is exactly what I would want, is they would make some response like, well, they're not really bad people, which would then allow me to say, then why the fuck are they locked in cages? We have this thing that we want to believe that people in prison aren't bad people, and they're being reformed, and they're going to be back and part of society, and they're so wonderful. Okay, if they're so wonderful, why are they in cages? And for those of you who might be stupid and don't know, if this is your first experience and you're wondering, what I'm saying here in my sarcastic, cynical way is that most of those people in prison shouldn't be in prison. Most of those people are perfectly normal, relatively wonderful as any human can be, kind of people. Most of them should not be in cages. But they're in cages. They're in cages for bullshit reasons. And not only... Hold on, I need coffee. My voice is starting to give out. Because I didn't do warm-up exercises before doing this. Vocal warm-ups, that is. They shouldn't be in the cages. They're in the cages because they did bullshit crimes. And because we live in a statist society where stupid fucking idiots like you, statists out there, support putting people in cages for the stupidest fucking reasons on the planet. Oh, you had marijuana. We're putting you in a cage. And the reason you do this is because, number one, the corporations that run the prison industrial complex need free workers. Because that's what people in prisons are. They're the base of the economy for the entire prison industrial complex, for building more prisons, for hiring more guards, for all the stuff that prisons sell to the corporations and the governments, like making license plates, like doing customer service for credit card companies, right? Like building arts and craft items, which are then sold at silent auctions. If we didn't have all these stupid laws, if people weren't in cages, there'd be nobody in there to do all of this shit. And another part of the reason why our society gets away with having more people incarcerated than any other fucking society on the planet Earth is because you stupid fucking women idolize and romanticize prison culture so fucking much. And all this comes on the tail end of seeing somebody posting on Facebook. She wants to know, where's all the good men? Where are all the mature men? Why aren't there any good single men? Well, gee, bitch. Because statist cunts like you have put a lot of them in prison for bullshit reasons. Because you romanticize prison. And statist cunts like you have sent a bunch of them over to Afghanistan to shoot people and get shot at because you romanticize the military culture and you romanticize warfare. So this is why you're posting on Facebook, where are all the good men? Because the good men are in prison, or the good men are in Afghanistan, or the good men are dead because they've already been shot in Afghanistan. And the good men, the really good men, the ones who have taken the red pill, the ones who are fucking awake, the ones who recognize the state for the Leviathan that it is, probably aren't going to have anything to do with you other than a couple of quick fucks because you're a fucking statist bitch. So where are all the good men? Well, you can get some good men as soon as you, women, stop romanticizing prison culture and warfare culture. Until then, honey, it's you and your vibrator and Facebook.